Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Before starting the video, if you are new here, please support and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Jazakallah. Let's start with the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. The concept of timekeeping started with observing nature, the cycles of the sun, moon, and changing seasons, to develop calendars. Over centuries, inventions like sundials and mechanical clocks allowed us to measure time more precisely. But what is time really? Is it an actual physical aspect of the universe, or just a human-made idea to understand change? One undeniable aspect of time is its relativity, as explained by Einstein's theory. Interestingly, this idea is also reflected in Surah Al-Ma'arij, where Allah states, "The angels and the Spirit ascend unto him in a day, the measure whereof is 50,000 years." This verse provides a deep insight into time's relativity. It describes how angels, traveling toward Allah at a speed only known to them, experience time differently. For them, this journey lasts just a day, while for humans, the same period spans 50,000 years. This perspective aligns with Einstein's theory that time is not absolute. It changes depending on speed and the observer's frame of reference. According to relativity, some theorists suggest that past, present, and future all exist at once. Imagine the universe as a book. If you want to read page 11, it must already exist. If it didn't, you wouldn't be able to turn to it. In this analogy, every page in the book of the universe is already there. Now picture yourself reading page 100. That represents your present. The pages you've read are your past, and the pages ahead are your future. All these pages exist simultaneously, yet you can only experience one at a time, the present. I have explained this idea in detail in a previous video about time. If past, present, and future already exist, it raises profound questions. Can we travel through time? If the future is predetermined, do we truly have free will? Earlier, I discussed the preserved tablet, Alawh al-Mahfuz, which Allah refers to in the Quran as Kitabun Mubin, the clear book, and Kitabun Markum, the unrolled, untouched tablet. This divine record contains everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen, written long before the creation of the universe. If we assume that time exists all at once, then the preserved tablet might be the very source of time itself. For instance, if it is recorded in the tablet that after watching this video, you will leave a comment, then that action is already written. However, if by Allah's will that future event is erased, then that specific moment ceases to exist. There would be no present of you commenting and no past link to it. This suggests that past, present, and future are intertwined, unfolding according to Allah's will. In this sense, the preserved tablet doesn't just document events. It may actually define the structure of time, with Allah determining how past, present, and future interact. The timeline of earthly lives. Now, let's look at the timeline of human life and how it fits into our understanding of existence. In previous discussions about the soul, we explored how our souls were created long before our physical bodies came into being. In Surah Al-A'raf, Allah says, "When your Lord took from the children of Adam, from their loins, their descendants, and made them testify concerning themselves, saying, 'Am I not your Lord who cherishes and sustains you?' They said, 'Yes, we testify.'" This moment signifies the covenant, mithaq, between Allah and every soul that will ever exist. Your timeline, my timeline, and the timelines of those who lived before us, or will come after us all, began at this point, when our souls were created. We can visualize human existence as a continuous sequence, divided into different stages that take us from the covenant to eternity. After the covenant, our souls remained in Alam al-Arwah, the realm of souls, until the moment we were born into this world. If we were to map out the timeline of human life, It would begin here, with the creation of the soul. The transition to earthly life. Initially, this timeline is simple and linear, beginning with the soul's creation and continuing forward until birth. However, from the moment of birth, things become more complex. From Alam al-Arwa, our souls transition to the physical world, where they inhabit bodies at birth. This marks the commencement of the earthly timeline, a phase rich with choices, actions, and consequences. Unlike the linear simplicity of the pre-birth phase, the earthly timeline becomes intricate and multifaceted, branching out based on our decisions. Earthly life introduces free will, allowing us to make choices that shape our destinies. Every decision we make creates branches in our timeline, much like a tree with countless twigs and offshoots. Let us illustrate this concept with examples. Imagine you face the choice of planting a tree or refraining from doing so. If you decide to plant the tree, this action introduces a new branch in your timeline, one that includes the tree's growth, its impact on the environment, and the beings it supports. Conversely, if you choose not to plant the tree, this branch never materializes, altering the course of events in your timeline and potentially in the timelines of others. The timeline branches expand with each decision, and every branch is governed by what is written in the preserved tablet, where everything, every event, every choice, every outcome is already recorded. It is not just humans that have timelines. Every living thing, including animals, plants, and even inanimate objects, has its own timeline in the preserved tablet. These timelines interact, overlap, and influence each other, creating a vast, interconnected web of existence. As we make decisions, our personal timeline becomes more intricate, branching out in multiple directions, while some branches disappear, affected by the choices we make. However, when we die, the soul is transferred to Alam al-Barzakh, the realm of waiting, where our ability to create new branches in the timeline is limited. In this state, we no longer have the same choices that influence our earthly timeline. Instead, the timeline becomes a straight line, devoid of branching decisions, moving toward its final point, the Day of Judgment. The Day of Judgment, the unfolding of our timeline. On the Day of Judgment, the timeline of each individual is revealed. Every decision, every action, every branch we created, and every moment we experienced will be shown to us as if it were a movie of our life. Everything we did, or did not do, will be accounted for, as it has all been recorded in the preserved tablet. This final point is where all branches converge, and where our actions and choices throughout our timeline are evaluated. Our timeline, once intricate and complex, will have its final moment of reckoning on this day. Can we travel back in time or forward into the future? Now, the question arises, can we go back in time or forward into the future if they exist simultaneously? The answer, in theoretical terms, is not entirely dismissive. Imagine a map. On a standard map, we can define the location of any point on Earth using latitude and longitude. These two coordinates help us determine the position of any object or location on a flat, two-dimensional plane. To make this map more accurate, we often add a third coordinate, altitude, to specify how high something is above the Earth's surface. This transforms the map into a three-dimensional space, where we can pinpoint objects in height, width, and depth. Now let's expand this idea by adding a fourth coordinate, time. If we consider time as a fourth dimension, we can think of it as the axis that tells us when an event occurs, in addition to where it happens in space. In this framework, the position of any event, object, or particle would be defined not only by its three spatial coordinates, but also by when it occurs in time. This concept is crucial to understanding space-time, a four-dimensional continuum that combines space and time into a single, unified structure. If you knew the exact coordinates of time, not just where something is in space, but also when it happens, you could theoretically travel to that point in time. Imagine that you have access to a map of space-time, where every event in the universe is fixed at a specific place and moment. With the right tools and knowledge, you could navigate through this 4D map and go to any moment in history, past or future. This is where the idea of time travel starts to make theoretical sense. Hypothetically, you could move through space-time the same way you move through physical space, by adjusting your time coordinate in the same way you adjust your spatial coordinates. In this 4D view, space tells us where something is located in the universe, while time tells us when that event or location occurs. This concept is deeply rooted in Einstein's theory of relativity, which shows that space and time are intertwined and cannot be considered independently. Just as you can pinpoint a location on Earth using latitude, longitude, and altitude, you could, in this model, identify a point in time with the same precision. The key would be knowing the correct coordinates to access that point: latitude, longitude, altitude, and time. Do we have free will? Now, let's explore the question: do we truly have free will? In previous discussions, we have examined the idea that everything might seem predetermined. However, scholars such as Imam al-Ghazali and Ibn Taymiyyah have argued that while Allah knows every choice we have made and will make, humans still possess free will. Although Allah's will governs all things, and every event is recorded in the preserved tablet, Allah al-Mahfuz, this does not mean that the future is fixed and unchangeable. In His infinite wisdom, Allah observes the preserved tablet countless times each day. With every glance, He decrees as He wills, elevating the humble, bringing down the mighty, granting wealth to some, taking it from others, giving life, and causing death. This suggests that while Allah's knowledge is absolute, our choices still hold significance, shaping the course of our lives according to His divine plan. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Nothing can change the divine decree except dua." This hadith emphasizes the power of supplication in altering the course of events. It suggests that even when something has been divinely decreed, it can be changed through sincere dua. Therefore, while Allah's knowledge encompasses everything, including our choices, this does not negate the existence of free will. In fact, the ability to make choices and supplicate to Allah indicates that we do have free will, within the framework of Allah's ultimate will and decree. The challenge of quantum mechanics to the block universe. Theory. As remarkable and logical as the block universe theory may seem, it faces significant challenges when confronted with the principles of quantum mechanics, which suggest a different, more dynamic, and uncertain nature of time and reality. At the heart of quantum mechanics lies uncertainty and probability. The famous Heisenberg uncertainty principle asserts that we cannot know both the position and momentum of a particle with absolute precision at the same time. At the quantum level, events do not unfold deterministically. Instead, the outcome of certain events can only be predicted in terms of probabilities. This leaves room for indeterminacy. Things are not strictly set in stone. For example, the outcome of a quantum measurement, such as the spin of an electron, cannot be known with certainty until it is observed. This suggests that the future is not completely determined and can unfold in multiple possible ways. If the future is already written in the block universe, this quantum indeterminacy seems paradoxical. How can there be room for probabilistic events if everything is predetermined? Quantum mechanics, particularly through its concept of wave function collapse, implies that the future is not as fixed as the block universe suggests. Instead of all moments existing simultaneously, quantum theory points to a reality where the future is open and influenced by both probabilistic events and observation. The observer effect in quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, the observer plays a crucial role in determining the outcome of an event. This is famously illustrated in the double-slit experiment, where particles such as electrons behave like waves until they are measured. When the particles are observed, they collapse into a specific state. Quantum mechanics suggests that the observer plays a role in shaping the future, meaning that the future is not completely laid out, and our actions may indeed influence the course of events. Another major challenge that quantum mechanics presents to the block universe is the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. In entanglement, two particles become correlated in such a way that the state of one particle can instantaneously affect the state of the other, regardless of the distance separating them. This phenomenon appears to violate the principles of locality, the idea that events that are far apart cannot influence each other faster than the speed of light. Entanglement suggests that reality is not as neatly divided into fixed, separate moments in time and space as the block universe would have us believe. Instead, the interconnectedness of quantum particles implies that the universe is much more fluid and dynamic, with events and particles influencing each other instantaneously, transcending the limitations of space and time. This spooky action at a distance, as Albert Einstein referred to it, raises questions about the very nature of time in the block universe. If everything is predetermined and exists as a fixed block, then how can entangled particles influence each other instantaneously across vast distances? The growing block universe. A reconciliation of free will and time. There is another explanation that reconciles the ideas of free will and time. This is the growing block universe. In this model, time is still conceived as a fourth dimension, and the universe is visualized as a block. However, in contrast to the block universe, where all events, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously, the growing block universe proposes that the past and present are fixed, but the future is still open and continually unfolding. In the growing block universe, only the past and present are fixed, while the future is not yet written in the block. This allows for time to evolve continuously. The idea is that as time passes, the present becomes part of the past, and new moments are added to the block. This allows the universe to grow as new events unfold, creating an open-ended future that has not yet been determined. Imagine writing a daily journal. Each completed page represents the past, fixed and unchangeable. The current day's entry is the present, actively being written. The blank pages ahead symbolize the future, open to endless possibilities. Thus, the growing block universe provides a more flexible model than the classical block universe. It retains the idea that the past is immutable, yet it allows the future to remain open and undetermined until it becomes the present. Free will and causality in the growing block universe. This flexibility opens up space for free will, as individuals' actions in the present can shape the course of the future. In discussing the growing block universe, it's important to address the concept of causality. Causality is the relationship between events, where one event, the cause, leads to another event, the effect. In classical determinism, the universe operates in a strictly cause and effect manner, where every event is the inevitable result of preceding events. The growing block universe, however, retains the idea of causality while allowing for free will. It proposes that events unfold in a causal chain. The present influences the future, and the past influences the present. However, this model introduces the notion that new events are continually being added to the block as time progresses. These new events represent moments of choice and decision-making that are not predetermined. While we are still bound by the causal laws of the universe, such as the laws of physics and biology, we are not restricted to a fixed set of outcomes. Our actions and decisions add new events to the causal chain, continuously shaping the course of the future. The future is open to change because the causal chain is not yet fully formed. It is still growing. The growing block universe and quantum mechanics. The growing block universe and quantum mechanics. A perspective on time. Both the growing block universe and quantum mechanics share key themes of dynamism and potentiality, offering complementary insights into the nature of time. The growing block universe suggests that the past and present are real and fixed, while the future remains open and undetermined, a concept that aligns with the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics. In both frameworks, the future exists as a realm of possibilities rather than predetermined certainties. In quantum mechanics, observation determines a system's state. Similarly, in the growing block universe, the present moment is where reality is actively shaped and constructed. Imagine a filmmaker capturing a scene. The recorded footage, past, is fixed and unchangeable. The live scene being filmed, present, is actively unfolding. The scenes yet to be filmed, future, are unwritten and full of possibilities. This open-ended future aligns with the idea of free will, where human choices actively shape reality. Quantum mechanics reinforces this notion, demonstrating that outcomes are not predetermined, but influenced by observation, interaction, and action. Time is not just a passive backdrop. It is an ongoing process where reality is built moment by moment. As humans, we can theorize and explore, but ultimately, the true nature of time remains a mystery that only Allah, the Almighty, fully comprehends. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications to stay updated. See you in the next video. Allah bless you all.